Hello, David Dominessy here. Today we're going to go over the controls and function and lubrication of a Kearney and Trecker horizontal mill. This particular mill happens to be from the 40s, and it is the Model H. I bought it personally from the University of California, UC Berkeley. My model happens to include the high-speed vertical tilting milling attachment with built-in crane. We'll go over that in a separate video. Here's a view from the front of the machine. Our feeds are adjusted here. This can be adjusted whether the machine is running or not, and that goes from a 1/2 inch per minute to 20 inches per minute. This is the knee, down and up. You pull this out, and now you can activate power feed down and up. This is the cross slide. Out and in. You pull it out. Now you can activate the power feed out and in. This is the cross slide dial. Goes to 250 thousandths with a lock. This is the knee dial. It's 125 thousandths dial with a lock. This is a close-up of how to actuate the power feed for the knee. Right now, the handle is actuated, but if we pull back on it, now we're able to switch to power feed, down and up. You see that manual cannot be restored until we're in the middle. It's the same operation for the cross feed. We're in manual. We pull it out, and now out and in. And when power feed is actuated, manual is impossible. So here's the operation of the power feed for the cross slide. Out. At 20 inches per minute. Stop and in. Same with the knee, down, 20 inches a minute, stop, up. The spindle must be running in order for power feed to actuate. However, with the spindle off, but the machine motor running, rapid feed is possible in all axes. The rapid feed handle is found on the right-hand side of the machine. You pull up to actuate a clutch. This is the table feed handle with a stop bypass. Also, a neutral lock so that you can't accidentally hit it into feed. Table feed. We're still at 20 inches per minute. Rapid. Neutral. Other direction. Rapid. Cross slide feed. Out. Rapid. Neutral. In. And rapid. Knee feed down, rapid, knee feed neutral, up, and rapid. Right now the spindle is on. I'll turn the spindle off. I pulled the clutch handle to turn the spindle off. Now we have no table feed, but we do have rapid in both directions. We have no cross slide feed, but we do have rapid. Same with the knee. Down. Up. This is the drive clutch actuation handle. Right now the drive clutch is off. That would be on. On this box is the magnetic switch on and off switches. The back side of the handle, actuated, off, and that is start and stop. Let's turn the machine motor on. The spindle is off. Now the spindle is on. You can see it moving here. Spindle off, machine motor off. 40 taper spindle with drive dogs. These are the overarms, 2 7/8 on the Model H. Here's the operation of the table stop. Here's the operation of the table stop bypass. You can lift up on the handle, bypass the table stop temporarily for that cut. Table gib lock. Saddle lock. The knee has 2 locks. 1, 2. The knee also has stops. 2 of them here. This is the stop handle, or stop arm. The saddle has stops as well, and the stop is here. Stop actuator. There's the adjustable stop on this arm. Your feed rate, adjustable in both directions. While we're here, this is your oil fill port for whey oil. I use Vactor number 2. You fill this oil, the motor slings oil around onto wicks, and that lubricates the table, weighs, and screw, crossfeed, weighs, and screw, knee, weighs, and screw, automatically while the machine is running. This model has a 9 by 46 inch table that is set up to run cutting oil. Underneath this guard is a brass screen. Here's the screen. So the cutting oil on both sides of the table, the chips are filtered by this screen, and then it runs into a trough which goes underneath the table into this brass telescoping tube, which runs down to the base of the column, empties out into the base of the column, which is hollow and full of oil, cutting oil. I use Mobile Met 426 non-staining cutting oil. You do not use water soluble in here, you'll rot your machine. And these caps are to move in case oil runs down the side of the machine. When you're doing certain cuts, that happens. It runs down the side of the machine into this trap and is filtered through that screen back into the base. The oil pump actuator is behind this door. This is where the clutch is and the oil pump. There's the clutch mechanism. I'll move the handle. Off, on. 2 belts fed by the motor. Down lower is the oil pump. It's fed off of a shaft. Actually, this shaft. So this is the oil pump shaft. You pull this up, which disengages the shaft from the oil pump. There's the oil pump shaft right here. And you pull that back down to actuate the oil pump. If you buy one of these machines that's been sitting around for a lot of years, I wouldn't expect that oil pump to work without you having to take it apart and clean all the sludge out of the base and the oil pump, but it's not that hard. On the side of the machine is the fill port for the saddle gearbox oil, and there's a sight glass for the level, the drain, obviously, under here. Over on the back side, over on the left hand side of the machine, is the sight glass for the spindle gearbox oil, and the spindle gearbox also runs a shaft that powers the saddle gearbox. Looking up higher, we have a sight glass for oil feed in the gearbox for the spindle. So there must be flow in this sight glass when the motor is running. On the back of the machine, we have the fill port for the spindle feed gearbox. We have the drawbar. There's the Arbor Support, which needs oil when you're running an arbor bushing. I store it on my overarms. I have 3 of my arbors stored on the overarms. That's not factory or stock. There's a drain for your cutting oil. Drain port in the back. I have a spigot on mine. Your electrical goes into the machine there. The motor access is here. 3 horsepower. Lubrication points for 20 weight oil. There's one there. Of course, you'd lubricate these. Lubrication point on the manual table handle. There's a cup there. Incidentally, I don't think I showed you the table dial is 250 thousandths. This spins freely so that it's not whipping around under power feed, and you have to push it to get it to work manually. Oil cup, 20 weight. There's no handle on the other side of the machine. Oil cup, 20 weight. This is a view of the cross slide screw. This is a brass telescoping pipe that holds the drive shaft for the saddle feeds. That shaft is run on the side through a gearbox here, through a shaft here. So, as the saddle goes up and down, that gearbox runs up and down on that keyed or spline shaft, so that power is continuously available to the saddle. There's the knee screw, which is lubricated automatically through the splash wicking mechanism. Overarm supports should be lubricated manually. Let's move to the controls on the side of the machine. We'll start with the overarm crank handle. This has 2 positions for one handle or 2. There are 2 overarm locks, one here and one here. 1 1/16. Once those are loosened, the overarms will extend out, both at the same time or only one. One is useful when you're hanging things on the overarms. It's a lot easier to hang on one arm first, then finish it off. On to the fun part. This handle is your selector for your top row of speeds, bottom row of speeds, or fast and slow. Your speed selector is here. You'll probably have to wobble the spindle with one hand while you turn this to get the gears to mesh up, which is what I'm doing with my right hand. So right now we're in slow 45, slow 35. Next divot, slow 58, and slow 73. And on around the circle, 119, 93. Switch this to fast, or the upper scale, we're in 666 and 851, and on around the circle we go 521, 412, around and around and around. From 35 revolutions per minute to 1400. Below the selector handle is the forward and reverse selector. You have to wobble the spindle, push it in, get it to actuate. That's reverse and forward. On this particular model, the oil spigot is here. Let's run some oil. The spindle has to be running for the oil pump to be on. Now, if you do happen to be running oil on a cut that runs back here like this, the machine is made to run that oil back down the machine. No problem. It's all designed that way. So it runs down the side of the machine, drips here, and that's what these caps are for. Mobile DTE 26 heavy medium. DTE 26 heavy medium. There's a shot of the overarms coming out. We'll do a separate video on setting up for horizontal milling. There's a close-up of the 40 taper spindle with drive dogs. We'll do a close-up of the universal vertical high-speed milling head. That's the drive gear I store there. Includes a coolant or oil holder. This is the pipe where the oil comes out. On mine it goes up. Over here we have arms on a hook to a bracket on the side of the machine. See this bracket? This doesn't come on all the machines. This is specifically here to store this vertical milling head on the side of the machine permanently, so you don't have to go fishing for it. And with this crane, it takes all the weight off of it. Makes it easy to install. We'll make a whole video for that. Here's some tooling. That's another arbor. Spacers, bushings, boring bars, 40 taper tooling. Handy dandy table square. Here's a view from the back. And the top. Kearney and Trecker, horizontal mill, Model H. Alright guys, David Dominessy, thanks for watching, take it easy.